Hello, everybody. We are broadcasting live on Monday, September 29th, 2014. I'm Dave Gardner with the emrhl. Broadcasting here on emrhl Radio on our Spreaker app. You can listen live through our website or any mobile phone or device or computer that has the Spreaker.com app. That's Spreaker. It's a speaker with an R, Spreaker. And today I have with me Vinny Bianco of the Tuesday League and Ray Arnott of the Eastern Connecticut Roller Hockey League. And we just got done with the Steve Lambert Memorial Tournament 2014. It's the third year of that tournament. And what we wanted to do is get some post-game reactions from everybody. But we're going to start with Ray first. And Ray, first, a little introduction on the Steve Lambert Memorial Tournament. What is it? How you started it? Why you started it? And where it is today.
All right, well, thanks for having me, Dave, and glad to be on the show. We started the Steve Lambert Memorial Tournament in 2012. That's when my good friend and Groton Hockey alumni and also a gentleman also spent some time up playing some smaller tournaments and some games from time to time in the emrhl as well. Steve Lambert, and he passed, and we wanted to create a tournament to honor him back in the roots of where we all met him, which was Groton at the outdoor rink. So we developed this tournament. At the time, the league was called the Groton Inline Hockey League, and we worked with Rob Cacciola and Joseph Saragusa to create this tournament that brought everybody together from the Eastern Massachusetts Roller Hockey League, the existing Groton Inline Hockey League, and then our team, the Pepsi Express, who, again, also had a relationship with your league and the Eastern Mass guys when we did the interstate tournaments, and I think it was 2005.
Yeah, it was. Yep, 05, yep.
So that's where we started the tournament, and we developed. Last year, we went down one team to 7, but we bounced back this year back to 8 teams. So we had initially 8, went to 7, back to 8. All 3 years have been absolutely phenomenal. We've had awesome weather, great participation, and this year we've just it was just an absolute wonderful weekend. Absolutely thrilled with how everything went down.
So it's our third year. This year we actually had 3 teams from Boston come down, which is the most that we've sent down. 3 full teams, actually. So they took on the 5 teams from down there. And then what you do is you divide it up into 2 divisions for the playoffs. Explain how that works.
Yeah, what we did, and the theory behind it, back even when we initially started this tournament, was we wanted something that wasn't just one team winning a championship. That there would be an opportunity for, let's say, a less loaded or calibered team to still have a chance at a championship. So what we've done is basically divided it in half. We do a qualifying round. We play 6 games. At the end of the 6 games, we seed the teams 1 through 8, seeds 1 through 4, play for what we call the White Division Championship, and then 5 through 8 play for the Blue Division Championship. What it terms to is the same trophy, the same medals, and we don't even call it AB. We just basically, it's 2 champions of the tournament. Again, giving everybody a chance at a little bit of fame of winning the tournament.
Okay, and I think when we started the tournament, I was down there for the first one in 2012, and it started off with a full game, and then I think after the first day, I actually sat down with you and said, boy, we've never played outside, at least it's been a long time. We started outside in 1999, but we haven't played outside since 2000, and the rotation of the sun really gave a team an advantage. So we approached you, and you were very open to the idea of splitting the game into half, so each team would have to share the sun.
Well, I think it may have started after that 18-minute one-period game where I faced into the sun and I gave up 16 goals or something like that. So it may have been a little biased, but yeah, it definitely had to split it off. Yeah, it's definitely some elements that if you've played hockey indoors a good amount, there are so many different elements between the sun and, of course, the acrylic glass down there also giving reflections. The surface is bright; it reflects up. So, yeah, we made it a little bit, tried to divide it up a little bit by doing the 2 9-minute periods, and it seems to work. And I tell you, it seems to be a lot better to get that at least that 30 to 45-second break in between with a half.
Yeah, it was surprisingly hot. Every time we've gone down late September, it's surprisingly hot. You think it'd be kind of cool toward the end of the month, and it's not. Let's turn our attention now to Vinny Bianco. Vin, you ran one of the 3 teams down there. Tell us a little bit how we got 3 teams from Boston get down there and how the teams were picked and jerseys and a whole bit.
Yeah, well, I just want to say, hey, Ray, and thanks for having us down. But definitely, we ended up having all the guys in the E decide, hey, who wants to come. And because it was my first year, whoever was already down, they kind of had like a buy into getting in. And we just were adding people as it came to just fill 3 teams. So instead of just, like you picking this guy and this guy picking this guy, we said, let's meet up and we'll have a little draft and, and we can determine, try to make this a little bit fun. So we said, while we're doing the draft, my friend owns a print shop. So why don't we make some cool jerseys and stuff and try to get it, make it as fun as we possibly could. So we all sat down and drafted 3 teams, came out to be about 9 guys per team, even though a couple guys couldn't make it. Everybody was 9 guys per team and we made 3 jerseys, and I thought it was nice to put the names on the back and kind of let people have a little bit of a remembrance of, oh, that was the jersey I wore for this tournament. And maybe next year, if you keep the same team or change it up, it's something to remember. It's pretty cool.
So you guys drafted teams and went down there and played, and you guys faced each other a couple times, so you had some bragging rights going on down there. But one thing that I know you had said before the show, and I was telling you too, is I'm burnt. I'm a lobster.
Yeah, it was hot, and that was what I was going to say too. It's like we all went down there with the intentions of having a good time, but the second we realized we were going to be playing each other, which some guys were like, "Oh, we want to play Connecticut teams." I wanted to play our teams so I could win, which we did. We didn't lose to one E team, which is now, like you said, bragging rights for the year. So I enjoyed that, but yeah, the big differences were obviously we're playing outside. The ball was a little bit heavier, so it took a little bit to get used to with, the larger size rink. And, at the end of the day, like you said, you have the sun beating on you 24/7. So it's a totally different atmosphere from what we were used to.
Right. Vin, what I want you to do is I'm going to ask Ray a couple questions. I want you to dig up the standings.
Sure, I actually have it all for you.
Okay. Hang on to that 1 second. I just want to ask Ray a couple questions. So Ray, a couple things. Where do you expect to go with this tournament? Are you quite content with the 8 teams and keeping it the way it is? Do you have any expectations of making it bigger, more teams, a second weekend, or what are your thoughts on the Lambert Tournament as it stands today?
Yeah. Right now, I'm very happy with the overall format of the tournament, and we always look at it, and I'll take some time to reflect. Right now, I'm nursing a sunburn as well, and it's funny. I thought I was under the tent for most of the tournament, and I'm still nursing a sunburn and worn out as well. So we'll take some time to reflect and look at how the tournament went. We'll look at some of the scheduling things. I've definitely circled some of the, quirks that were in the schedule. And we'll make our adjustments to try to always make it better. Something we introduced this year. We started in 2012 with doing penalty shots for minors and 2 penalty shots for a major or double minor. We moved away from that, and then in the second year we did full penalties. And I kind of like the idea because we want to discourage taking penalties, but 2 minutes in an 18-minute game is really scaled up. So we backed it down to a minute minor. That was one of the changes. I liked how it worked. It seemed like it still deterred penalties, but still gave my referees some flexibility to make calls. So I think that worked very well for us. I think 8 teams is probably going to be the cap based on how the schedule goes through the day. I mean, we start at 8:30 in the morning. We can't really start any earlier than 8:30 because it starts to get, the dew has to dry off. I mean, if anybody was there any earlier, they saw the dew running down the glass. We got to get that all dried out and make the rink skatable. And then you start losing sunlight very quickly this time of year, which we still want to stay in this time of year, although 80-something degrees. I think we may have been better off skating in August temperature-wise, but I think we've got a pretty good format here, and I'm really excited, and I think most guys are, that, it's definitely a tournament format that's fairly user-friendly, and we try to keep it so that guys aren't waiting a long time, but there's plenty to do and hang out. Guys are playing cornhole. We had 2 sets of cornholes going, and it's more than just hockey. It kind of becomes like a hangout kind of picnic atmosphere that we really enjoy having.
Yeah, I know. I was talking to you about the schedule a little bit, and the one thing you wanted to avoid is having teams play at 8:30, then again at 11:30, then their last game at 4. So you don't want guys hanging around all 8 or 9 hours. Some people just can't. And I know that the guys from Boston travel down and they're there. They said, where are we going to go? But some of your local guys, they're kind of pigeonholed into early or late starts for their games on Saturday. So I guess it's kind of you do the best you can for everybody as much as you can, and you try not to have you try not to have 4 or 5 hours between games. So I guess probably
absolutely, yeah. And I know from my own personal, being out of shape, that I'd rather play, closer together than that sitting. If you sit for 2.5 hours waiting for a game, you tighten up pretty quick, and then it makes it all that much harder. So we try to make it work. I mean, I guess you got to go into it with the mentality of both, that you don't want to hang around in between games a whole lot, but also enjoy the time that you're doing that. And I certainly saw lots of groups, including the Eastern Mass guys all together, and teams from the ECRHL, and the one team that joined us from Rhode Island. I don't want to forget those guys because they're also coming. They're from South County. They all you make the most of it and just make it a day, and as much as you can, and as much as you can put up for time, and it makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah, what I did like that you did on Saturday was that you actually set up a post tournament scrimmage. So after all the games were done on Saturday, you set it up so you had some of the Connecticut guys taking on the Boston guys just in case they didn't play against each other.
Right. Well, and what this is priming to is that your Eastern Mass guys are now, I guess, seasoned veterans of travel roller hockey, and our guys haven't quite. They've had the taste of it in other avenues, but for the league itself, it's a fairly new concept. So I think what we did is set up a really nice primer by doing that scrimmage at the end. They gave your guys another game to skate in, and then give our guys an opportunity to mix it up and play. Guys that usually don't play with each other, even in the tournaments, got to play and set up a primer for the future.
All right, Vin, did you play in that game?
No, actually, I didn't. I kind of wanted to rest. I was actually just going to make a comment on that. We are coming down, and for us, it's more like a vacation for the weekend. It's like, where are we going to drink? How much are we going to drink? And by the time we get to bed, so, it was a little tough for some of the guys getting up for the early games, which, it is what it is. So after my first night at Foxwoods and hanging out and playing all day, at the end, I was kind of tired. But I definitely agree with the fact that after the first day, if guys want to do some scrimmages, it's nice to just get that friendly competition against other teams that you might not see.
Cool. Now you have the final standings of the tournament, and then we can go over to playoffs in a bit. But Vin, what do you got for the standings?
Yeah, well, after the first day, it was Pirates, USA, and Team Red and the Monsters, and from 1st to 4. So that was nice knowing that if you're in that top 4, you had a little bit of competitive edge wanting to try to stay there. And then the bottom 4, we had the Sofa Kings, Banana Hammocks, Voodoo Grill, and then Shoreline Express, and that was after the first day. Then it ended up finishing with the Pirates staying on top, they didn't lose a game. And then Team USA and the Monsters and Team Red for the top 4. Had Sofa Kings, Banana Hammocks, and the Voodoo Grill, along with Shoreline Express to bring in the bottom 4.
Yep, so what they did is they took the top 4, they played out in the division playoffs, and then the bottom 4 played in their own playoffs. And Drunken Pirates, they were 6-0, Vin, and I watched that game that they played against Team Red. Team Red scored 1-0. Drunken Pirates needed a goal with about 17 seconds left to tie that.
And they got it, too.
And they won in overtime.
We were so upset because, it was like a bittersweet because we showed up at the rink for our first game, Team USA, a little not prepared. I kind of was putting my stuff on in the car, and then I ran to the right to the rink, and boom, the game started. So we didn't get that beginning skate, which was a little off, and they beat us. So when we saw Team Red winning, we're like, oh, great, we might be able to get by these guys. And they kind of proved and showed why they were the better team. You know, they scored with 17 seconds, and they grinded it out. It was pretty impressive, actually. They played really well together.